Commander Alex stared at the dead control panel. 3 days had passed since the main engines failed. 3 days of floating in the endless black of uncharted space. 3 days of watching hope fade like the dimming emergency lights of the Star Weaver. "Any luck with the comms?" Alex asked, not bothering to look up. The answer would be the same as the last dozen times. Navigator Tom shook his head. "Nothing. Our distress signal is broadcasting, but we're too far from any trade routes. No one will hear it out here." The Star Weaver was a research vessel, not meant for the deep void where they now drifted. Their mission had been simple: collect data from the outer systems and return home. But simple missions could still go wrong. Engineer Kay entered the bridge, wiping black fluid from her hands with an already stained cloth. Her face told the story before she spoke. "The engine core is completely dead," she said. "The crystal matrix shattered when we hit that radiation pocket. We have no spare parts that could even begin to fix this." Dr. Ben looked up from his station, where he had been calculating their remaining supplies. "How much life support do we have left?" Kay's shoulders dropped. "At current usage? 10 days. Maybe 12 if we power down everything but the most basic systems." Alex walked to the viewport. Stars stared back, cold and distant. Their beauty seemed cruel now. "We need to make hard choices," Alex said. "We should enter the sleep pods. It will extend our oxygen supply." "And then what?" Tom asked. "We just hope someone finds us before the backup power fails too?" Alex turned to face the small crew. They were all Nexar, a species known across the galaxy for their advanced technology and logical thinking. Their silver-blue skin reflected the emergency lighting, making them look even more ghost-like than usual. "Yes," Alex said simply. "Hope is all we have left." The next day, they shut down all non-essential systems. The Star Weaver's corridors became dark tunnels, lit only by strips of floor lighting. The temperature dropped as heating was reduced to minimum levels. Kay worked to reroute power to the distress beacon, making it the priority after life support. "If anyone comes within range, they'll know we're here," she said. But her voice lacked conviction. In the small dining area, the 4 crew members gathered for what might be their last meal together. The food, protein packs designed for efficiency rather than taste, did nothing to improve the mood. "The Nexar High Council won't send anyone to look for us," Tom said, breaking the heavy silence. "We're too far off course. They'll mark us as lost and move on." No one argued. The Nexar were practical to a fault. Risking more ships and crews to search the vastness of space for one lost vessel would be considered illogical. Ben pushed his half-eaten food away. "My family will perform the remembrance ceremony. They'll place my items in the family shrine and speak my name to the stars." His voice cracked slightly. "I always thought I would die old, surrounded by generations of offspring." Alex reached across the table and placed a hand on Ben's arm. "We're not dead yet," but they all knew their chances grew slimmer with each passing hour. On the 5th day, the ship's computer detected a small asteroid field in their drift path. Without engine power, they had no way to change course. "The shields are at minimal power," Kay reported. "They'll stop the smallest rocks, but anything larger." She didn't need to finish. For 6 tense hours, they watched as the Star Weaver floated through the field of space debris. Each impact made them flinch. The shields flickered with each hit. A rock the size of a fist slammed into the hull near the supply section. Warning lights flashed. "Hull breach in storage section 3, the computer announced in its flat voice. "Sealing bulkheads," Kay said, fingers flying over the emergency controls. When it was over, they had lost nearly half their remaining supplies. Their timeline had just shrunk dramatically. "We need to enter the sleep pods now," Alex decided. "We can't wait any longer." The sleep pods were located in the medical bay. Originally designed for injured crew members who needed special care, they could also preserve life by slowing all bodily functions to near zero. "I've programmed them to wake us if a rescue signal is detected," Ben explained, as he prepared the pods. "Otherwise, they'll keep us in suspension until power fails." "How long will that give us?" Tom asked. "With just the pods running on emergency power?" "Maybe 2 months," Kay answered. "After that?" She didn't need to explain. Alex looked at each crew member in turn. They had served together for 3 years. They were more than colleagues, they were family. We should record final messages, Alex suggested. In case. No one objected. One by one, they sat before the ship's log recorder and spoke to loved ones they would likely never see again. When it was done, Alex made a final captain's log. This is Commander Alex of the Nexar research vessel Starweaver. We have suffered catastrophic engine failure in Sector 12 Kappa. Coordinates are attached to this message. We have entered suspension pods to extend our survival time. If you find this ship and we still live, we thank you. If not, please inform the Nexar High Council of our fate and send these messages to our families. Alex paused, then added, to whoever might find us, we did not go gentle into the dark of space. We fought until the end. The pods hummed with quiet energy as Ben activated each one. Kay went first, then Tom. Alex watched as their breathing slowed, their silver-blue skin taking on a frosted appearance as the preservation chemicals took effect. Ben stood by the last 2 pods. After you, Commander. Alex shook head. Captains go last. Ben nodded in understanding. It has been an honor serving with you. And with you, old friend. After Ben was safely in suspension, Alex took one final walk through the silent ship. Emergency lights cast long shadows down empty corridors. The Starweaver had been a good ship. It didn't deserve this lonely end. In the bridge, Alex touched the main console one last time, then pulled up the external camera feed. The ship was alone in the vastness, a tiny metal bubble surrounded by infinite darkness. Someone find us, Alex whispered to the stars. Please. Back in the medical bay, Alex climbed into the final pod. The lid closed with a soft hiss. Cold mist filled the chamber. As consciousness began to fade, Alex had a final thought. In the vastness of space, what were the chances anyone would find them before it was too late? The answer came in dreams of ice and darkness. Captain Jack stretched in his chair on the bridge of the horizon. The human exploration vessel had been mapping this sector for 3 weeks now. It was boring work, but necessary. Earth needed new mining sites, and this unexplored region of space might hold valuable resources. How much longer until we finish the scan of this quadrant? Jack asked, stifling a yawn. Lisa, the communications officer, checked her screen. About 6 hours, Captain. Then we can head back to base as scheduled. Jack nodded. The crew of 12 had been away from home for nearly 2 months. They were all ready to return, to feel solid ground beneath their feet again, to see blue skies instead of endless stars. Captain, Lisa said suddenly, her back straightening. I'm picking up something strange. Define strange, Jack said, moving to her station. It's a signal, very weak, using an old frequency we haven't seen in years. Her fingers moved across her screen, adjusting settings. It's a distress beacon. The bridge fell silent. In the vastness of space, a distress signal was both rare and important. Can you trace it? Jack asked. Lisa worked her controls for a moment. Yes, it's coming from about half a day's journey off our planned route. Mike, the navigator, frowned. That would put us well behind schedule, Captain. The company won't be happy if we're late delivering the survey data. Jack ran a hand through his short brown hair. Put the signal on speaker. A moment later, a repeating pattern of beeps filled the bridge. It was mechanical and emotionless, but to everyone listening, it might as well have been a scream for help. Any idea who it belongs to? Jack asked. Lisa shook her head. The frequency is old, at least 20 years out of date. It's not matching any current human emergency protocols. Alien, First Officer Rob suggested. Possibly, Lisa agreed. But I can't identify which species. Jack paced the small bridge. The choice wasn't easy. Diverting course would mean delays, paperwork, and possibly danger. Unknown alien encounters were always unpredictable. What do we do, Captain? Rob asked, knowing what Jack was thinking. Jack stopped pacing. What would we want someone to do if that was our signal? The question needed no answer. Mike, plot a course to the signal source. Lisa, keep monitoring in case there's any change. Rob, prepare the medical bay for possible survivors. Yes, Captain, they responded together. And alert the rest of the crew, Jack added. Tell them our vacation just got postponed. 12 hours later, the horizon approached the source of the distress signal. Visual contact, Mike announced, putting it on the main screen. The view screen showed a ship drifting against the backdrop of stars. It was sleek with curved lines that suggested speed and grace when it had been operational. Now it hung lifeless in space, only a few external lights still blinking weakly. Scan it, Jack ordered. Hull is intact, but I'm reading a small breach in what appears to be a storage section, Rob reported. Minimal power signatures, the ship is running on emergency systems only. Life signs? Jack asked. Rob adjusted the scanner. Yes, 4 of them. Very faint. They appear to be in some kind of suspended animation. Jack leaned forward. Can you identify the species? The ship design and life signs are consistent with Nexar technology, Rob said. They're not common in this sector. Must be a research or exploration vessel that went off course. The Nexar were known to humans but not familiar. Their silver blue skin and advanced technology made them somewhat mysterious. Relations between humans and Nexar were neutral. Not friendly but not hostile either. How long has that ship been drifting? Jack asked. Lisa checked her readings. Based on the beacon's power degradation, I'd estimate about 2 months. 2 months. Jack tried to imagine being lost in space for that long, watching systems fail, waiting for a rescue that might never come. Captain, Rob said quietly, their life support is failing. Those stasis pods are running on the last of their emergency power. I'd give them 3 days at most before they shut down completely. Jack nodded grimly. Then we have work to do. Prepare a boarding party. We need to get those people out of there. 2 hours later, Jack led a team of 5 toward the alien vessel. They wore environmental suits, not knowing what conditions they would find inside. The Horizon shuttle carried them across the short distance between the ships. Remember, Jack told the team, these are Nexar. They're logical, precise, and probably scared out of their minds. We go slow, we stay calm. The team included Rob, Dr. Sam, and engineers Kelly and Mark. They were the best the Horizon had to offer. Approaching the airlock now, Mark reported from the shuttle controls. I'm detecting minimal atmosphere inside the ship. Suits will be necessary. The shuttle docked with a gentle thud. The team checked their equipment one last time before cycling. Through the airlock, they entered darkness. Their helmet lights cut through the gloom, revealing a corridor that curved gently ahead of them. The air was thin and cold. Power's almost gone, Kelly observed, checking her scanner. Life support is at less than 10%. Let's find those stasis pods, Jack ordered. Sam, which way? Sam consulted his medical scanner. Life signs are coming from that direction, he said, pointing down the corridor. About 50 meters. They moved carefully through the silent ship. Emergency lighting gave everything a blue tint, making the metal walls look like ice. Their footsteps echoed in the emptiness. Fascinating design, Mark commented, running a gloved hand along a wall panel. The Nexar are known for their engineering, but I've never seen one of their ships up close. Focus, Mark, Jack reminded him. Sightseeing comes later. They found the medical bay on the second deck. The door was partially open, stuck in place when power had begun to fail. Kelly and Rob forced it the rest of the way. Inside, 4 stasis pods hummed faintly. The blue glow from within illuminated the faces of the Nexar crew. Their silver blue skin had a frozen quality, covered with a thin layer of frost from the suspension process. Sam immediately went to work checking the pod's status. They're alive, but just barely. These pods were never meant to run this long on emergency power. The preservation chemicals are starting to break down. Can they be moved? Jack asked. Sam nodded. Yes, but carefully. We'll need to keep them in stasis until we can transfer them to our medical bay. How much time do they have left? Rob asked. Sam looked grim. If we hadn't found them, maybe 2 days. The pods would have failed and... He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Then let's not waste time, Jack said. Kelly, Mark, stabilize the pod systems for transport. Rob, help Sam prepare them for movement. I'm going to check the bridge, see if I can find out what happened here. As the others went to work, Jack made his way to the Nexar ship's bridge. The story he found in the ship's logs was both simple and tragic. Engine failure in deep space, no way to repair it, and a slow countdown to death. The final log entry from the commander touched him deeply. To whoever might find us, we did not go gentle into the dark of space. We fought until the end. Jack touched the console gently. You did, he said to the empty bridge. And it worked. We found you. Now they just had to finish the rescue. The Nexar ship's stasis pods arrived in the Horizon's medical bay. Dr. Sam worked quickly, connecting them to the human ship's power systems. The blue glow of the pods strengthened as they received full power for the first time in months. Will they be all right? Captain Jack asked, watching Sam check the vital signs displayed on the pod monitors. Their bodies are stable, Sam replied. But these chemicals they use for stasis, they're different from ours. I'm not sure how to safely wake them. Engineer Mark studied the Nexar pod controls. The system is complex but logical. I think I can figure it out. He pulled out a small device and began scanning the alien technology. The Nexar language uses mathematical patterns as a base. If I can decode that, how long will it take? Jack asked. Mark shrugged. A few hours, maybe? Less if Kelly helps me. Do it, Jack ordered. In the meantime, Rob and I will see what we can salvage from their ship. He turned to Sam. Keep them stable. Let me know immediately if anything changes. Back on the Nexar, Vessel, Jack, and Rob gathered personal items, data cores, and ship logs. These people had been adrift for months. The least the humans could do was save their memories and research. Captain, Rob said, holding up a silver disc. I think this is their equivalent of family photos. There are images stored on it. Jack nodded. Pack it all. Everything that might be important to them. 6 hours later, Mark called the captain to the medical bay. I've got it, he said, excitement clear in his voice. The wake-up sequence. It's actually elegant once you understand. The pattern. Are you sure? Jack asked. We can't afford mistakes here. I'm sure, Mark said confidently. They designed their systems to be understood by any species with basic mathematical knowledge. It's like a universal language. Jack looked at the 4 aliens sleeping in their pods. All right, wake the commander first. Commander Alex felt cold, then warmth, then sensation returning to limbs that had been still for too long. Consciousness came back in waves, each bringing more awareness. The stasis chemicals were breaking down, allowing thought to return. Something was wrong. The wake-up sequence was happening too fast. Emergency protocols? Had the ship's systems failed completely? Alex's eyes opened slowly, vision blurry at first. A face came into focus above the pod, not Nexar, pink skin, hair on the head, eyes round and dark. Human. Alex tried to speak, but the throat was too dry. The pod lid was open now. The human said something, the sounds strange and unfamiliar. Another human appeared, offering a cup of water. Alex took it with shaking hands and drank carefully. The water was cool and clean. Where? My crew? Alex managed to ask in broken universal trade language, a simple form of communication used between species. The human with dark hair seemed to understand. Safe, he said in the same language, pointing to the other pods. Still sleeping. You are first. Alex looked around. This was not the Starweaver. The medical bay was different, designed for human bodies, with bright lights and equipment Alex didn't recognize. I am Jack, the human said, placing a hand on his chest. Captain of Horizon human ship. We found your distress signal. Alex, the Nexar replied weakly. Commander of Starweaver. How long? 2 months, Jack said. Your ship was drifting. Almost no power left. 2 months. The pods had been designed to last 3 at most. The humans had found them just In time. Thank you, Alex said, the words feeling small compared to the enormity of what these aliens had done. Over the next day, the rest of the Nexar crew was awakened. Dr. Ben recovered quickly, immediately helping Sam understand Nexar physiology. Navigator Tom was more wary, watching the humans with suspicious eyes. Engineer K was fascinated by the human ship, asking endless questions that Mark tried his best to answer. Communication was difficult at first. The universal trade language was limited, meant only for basic commerce between species. Mark had a solution. "I've been working on this," he said, showing Alex a small device. "It analyzes speech patterns and creates translation algorithms. The more we talk, the better it gets." Alex took the device cautiously. Nexar were not known for trusting alien technology, but they had little choice now. "Your people came for us," Alex said slowly, the device translating. "Why? We are strangers to you." Jack seemed surprised by the question. "You needed help. That's enough reason." This simple answer confused the Nexar crew. In their culture, such actions required logical justification, resources spent, risks taken, benefits gained, all carefully calculated. The humans had diverted their mission, used valuable fuel and supplies, all for unknown aliens who might never be able to repay them. "Your ship," Kay asked Mark through the translator. "You said you were on a survey mission. Now you are delayed. Will you be punished?" Mark laughed. "We'll get some paperwork and maybe a lecture about schedules, but no one will question that." "We stopped to help," Kay frowned. "In Nexar space, such inefficiency would not be tolerated." "Efficiency isn't everything," Kelly said, joining the conversation. "Sometimes you do things because they're right, not because they're efficient." This concept seemed to trouble the Nexar deeply. Later, in the Horizon's dining area, both crews shared a meal. The humans had synthesized food compatible with Nexar biology, another gesture that surprised Alex. "We've managed to save most of your ship's systems," Jack explained. "The main engines are beyond repair, but we can tow you to the nearest station. From there you can contact your people." "The nearest station is 5 days away," Rob added. "We've already changed course." Ben, who had been speaking quietly with Sam, turned to Alex. "Their medical knowledge is unusual. They use intuition alongside science. Their bodies are simpler than ours, yet they adapt quickly to new environments." Tom leaned closer to Alex. "Can we trust them? Really trust them? No species is this helpful without reason." Alex watched the humans laughing together at the far end of the table. They were so different, noisy, emotional, inefficient in many ways. Yet they had done what no Nexar ship would have done. Diverted their mission to save unknown aliens with no guarantee of reward. "I believe we can," Alex said finally. "They are different from us, but perhaps that is good. They saw our signal and chose to help. In their place, would we have done the same?" The question hung in the air, uncomfortable but necessary. "I have studied the device they gave us," Kay said quietly. "The translation technology, it is innovative. Not as precise as ours would be, but it learns and adapts. Like they do." Alex nodded slowly. "Perhaps we have much to learn from each other." Across the room, Captain Jack raised a cup and a toast, smiling at the Nexar crew. The humans had saved them from certain death, asking nothing in return except the opportunity to help. Alex raised a cup in return, a strange feeling growing, something like hope, but warmer. These humans, with their inefficient ways and emotional decisions, had done something remarkable. They had answered a call that no one else had heard. "Impossible," Kay said, shaking her head as she studied the schematics of the Starweaver's engine core. "The crystal matrix is completely shattered. There is no way to repair this." 3 days had passed since the rescue. The Horizon towed the EI's damaged Nexar vessel behind it as they traveled toward the nearest space station. Both crews had been working together, trying to understand what had happened and if repairs were possible. Engineer Kelly leaned over the table, studying the same schematics. Unlike Kay's slender blue fingers, Kelly's human hands were rough and marked with small scars, signs of someone who worked with real machinery, not just designs. "Nothing's impossible," Kelly said with a confidence that Kay found puzzling. "Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean it can't be done." Kay sighed. "The crystal matrix is the heart of our propulsion system. It must be perfect, grown, under exact conditions over many months. Even a small flaw would cause catastrophic failure." Kelly picked up one of the broken crystal pieces. "What if we don't need it to be perfect? What if we just need it to work long enough to get you home?" "Those are the same thing," Kay said. Kelly smiled. "Not to humans, they aren't. In the medical bay, Dr. Ben watched with fascination as Sam treated a small burn on Rob's hand. The first officer had injured himself while helping move equipment from the Nexar ship. "You're not using a healing matrix," Ben observed. "A what?" Sam asked, applying a simple bandage after cleaning the wound. "A programmed cellular accelerator," Ben explained. "It would close the wound immediately." Sam shrugged. "We don't have that technology. The body heals itself with a little help." "Inefficient," Ben said automatically, then caught himself. "I'm sorry. That was rude." Sam laughed. "No offense taken. It is inefficient. But it works. The body adapts, becomes stronger, around the healing site. Sometimes the slow way has advantages." Ben thought about this as he helped organize medical supplies. The humans accepted imperfection as part of life. They worked with it rather than trying to eliminate it completely. It was so different from Nexar thinking. On the bridge, navigator, Tom stood beside Captain Jack watching the stars. The human ship's navigation systems were less advanced than Nexar technology, but Jack guided the ship with a confidence that impressed Tom. "How do you know this is the best route?" Tom asked. "Your computers haven't calculated all possible paths." Jack tapped his head. "Some things you just feel. Experience, intuition, call it what you want. Sometimes you know things you can't explain." Tom frowned. "That is not logical." "No," Jack agreed. "But it works." He pointed to a cluster of stars ahead. "See that formation? Reminds me of a pattern I saw near a gravity well once. I'd steer a bit more to port, just to be safe." Tom checked his instruments. Nothing indicated danger. Yet he couldn't help but notice Jack changing course slightly, trusting something beyond data and numbers. Commander Alex found the humans constantly surprising. They worked hard but laughed often. They argued openly, but without lasting anger. They approached problems from angles that no Nexar would consider. Mark had created an improved version of the translation device, allowing both crews to communicate more freely. Alex used it now as the command crews gathered in the Horizon's conference room. "We've been examining the damage to your ship," Jack said. "The good news is most systems can be repaired once we reach the station. Life support, navigation, communications, all fixable." "And the bad news?" Alex asked. "The engine." Jack looked to Kelly, who stood to address the group. "The crystal matrix is beyond conventional repair," Kelly said. "But we think we've found an alternative solution." Kay appeared uncomfortable. "I told her it won't work. The crystals must be perfect." Kelly placed a container on the table and opened it, revealing the shattered remains of the Nexar engine core. "Perfection is overrated," she said with a smile. "What if we reconfigure the crystal fragments in a new pattern? They won't work like they did before, but they might generate enough power for limited propulsion." "That is not how our technology works," Kay insisted. "Maybe not how it's supposed to work," Kelly agreed. "But these crystals still have energy potential. We just need to arrange them in a way that creates a stable reaction." Alex looked at Jack. "Is this possible?" Jack shrugged. "Kelly has a talent for making things work when they shouldn't. I've learned to trust her instincts." "Instincts," Kay repeated, the word sounding foreign from her mouth. "Not calculations?" "Both," Kelly said. "The calculations tell us the limits. Instinct shows us how to work around them." For the next 2 days, the engineering teams worked on Kelly's idea. The Nexar engineers were skeptical, following procedures and protocols that had served their species for centuries. The humans were different. They tried ideas that failed, adjusted, tried again, working through breaks and sleeping in shifts. Kay watched Kelly work with growing interest. The humans' approach was chaotic by Nexar standards, but there was a method to it. Kelly talked to the machinery, patted it, treated it almost like a living thing. "Why do you do that?" Kay asked. "Do what?" Kelly looked up from the crystal alignment she was adjusting. "Speak to the equipment. Touch it unnecessarily." Kelly laughed. "Old habit. My first ship was a rust bucket that needed constant coaxing. I guess I learned that machines have personalities." "That is not rational," Kay said. "Maybe not," Kelly agreed. "But sometimes when nothing else works, a little sweet talk and a gentle touch does the trick." She tightened a connection and stepped back. "Let's try it now." The reconfigured crystal array was nothing like the original Nexar design. Instead of a perfect geometric formation, the crystals were arranged in an asymmetrical pattern that looked wrong to Kay's eyes. The human engineers had added materials from their own ship, conductors and stabilizers that weren't in the original plans. "Power it up," Kelly said. 20% only." Kay hesitated, then initiated the sequence. The crystal fragments began to glow, energy flowing between them along the new pathways. The readouts showed power building, unstable but present. "It's working?" Kay said, surprise evident in her voice. "Told you," Kelly said with a grin. "Not perfect, but good enough to get you home. We'll need to monitor it constantly and make adjustments, but it should hold." Kay stared at the improvised engine core. By Nexar standards, it was a crude solution, inelegant and temporary. Yet it worked when all Nexar knowledge said it should not. "I do not understand how you thought of this," Kay admitted. Kelly shrugged. "Humans are good at making broken things work. It's kind of our specialty." Later, Alex found Jack in the observation room, looking at the two ships joined together as they moved through space. "Your engineer has done the impossible," Alex said. Jack smiled. "Kelly would say she just did what needed doing. The Nexar would never have attempted such a solution," Alex admitted. "We would have followed protocol, waited for rescue, or accepted our fate." "Different approaches," Jack said. "Neither wrong, just different." Alex thought about this. "Your crew took risks to save us. You continue to take risks to help us. Why?" Jack considered the question. "Humans have a saying. A stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet. Space is vast and dangerous. We all need help sometimes." The translation device struggled with some of the concepts, but Alex understood the meaning. The humans helped because they could, because they believed connection was valuable in itself. It was a simple idea, yet it challenged everything the Nexar had built their society upon. Efficiency, logic, perfection. These were the pillars of Nexar civilization. The humans offered something different: adaptation, improvisation, and an unexpected kindness that crossed the boundaries between species. As they stood watching the stars together, Alex wondered what other surprises these humans might have to offer. The space station appeared first as a small point of light in the distance. As the joined ships approached, it grew larger, a spinning wheel of metal and light, home to thousands of beings from dozens of species. "Frontier Station 12, Jack announced on the shared communication channel. "Not the biggest or the newest, but they have repair facilities and communications that can reach Nexar space." Commander Alex stood on the bridge of the Starweaver, which now moved under its own power thanks to Kelly's improvised crystal engine. The ship limped along beside the horizon rather than being towed behind it. It wasn't pretty. The engine required constant adjustments, and they could only manage half their normal speed, but it worked. "We're being hailed," Lisa reported from the Horizon's communications station. The station controller's voice filled both bridges. "Horizon, we've been worried. You're 2 weeks behind schedule. What happened?" "Made some new friends," Jack replied easily. "Nexar research vessel in distress. We're bringing them in for repairs." There was a pause. "Nexar? Out here? That's unusual." So is finding survivors after 2 months adrift, Jack said. We'll need a repair bay for them and accommodations for their crew while they wait for pickup from their people. Understood, Horizon. Proceed to Docking Bay 3. We'll prepare for your arrival. News of the rescue spread quickly through the station. Humans were common in this part of space, but Nexar were rare visitors. By the time both ships docked, a crowd had gathered to watch. The 4 Nexar crew members stepped onto the station with mixed feelings. They were grateful to be alive, yet aware of how far they still were from home. And they were unsettled by the attention they received. Why are they staring? Tom asked quietly. They've heard about the rescue, Alex replied. It seems our story has traveled faster than we have. A station official approached, accompanied by several other beings. Commander Alex, I'm Administrator Park. We've arranged quarters for your crew and repair facilities for your ship. We've also sent word to the nearest Nexar embassy. They'll send transport for you within 2 weeks. 2 more weeks away from home. It was both a disappointment and a relief. 2 more weeks with these humans who had saved them, who continued to surprise them. Thank you, Alex said to the administrator, then turned to Jack. And thank you, Captain, for everything you and your crew have done. Jack smiled. We're not leaving just yet. We have our own repairs to make and reports to file. Besides, I think our engineers would riot if we tried to leave before seeing your ship fully functional again. In the following days, the reputation of both ships' crews grew. Stories spread about the human ship that had diverted its mission to save aliens they didn't know, and of the Nexar who had survived against impossible odds. Representatives from several species visited the repair bay where the Starweaver was docked, curious about the makeshift engine that shouldn't work, but did. Engineer Kay found herself explaining Kelly's improvised solution to fascinated technical experts. The human approach is unorthodox, Kay admitted to a group of engineers, but effective in ways we would not have considered. In the station's medical center, Dr. Ben collaborated with Sam, sharing knowledge that benefited both their peoples. Ben's precise understanding of biochemistry complemented Sam's practical approach to treatment. Navigator Tom spent hours in the station's stellar cartography lab, updating Nexar star charts with human exploration data. The humans had mapped regions the Nexar had never visited, using simpler but surprisingly accurate methods. For Commander Alex, the days were filled with meetings and preparations for the journey home. But in quiet moments, there were conversations with Jack, discussions about leadership, about the differences between their peoples, about the vastness of space and the unexpected connections it created. 10 days after their arrival at the station, a message came from the Nexar High Council. They want a full report, Alex told the Nexar crew as they gathered in their station quarters, including details of the human rescue and assistance. Will they understand? Ben asked. Will they see the value in what happened here? It was a valid question. The Nexar valued efficiency and logic above all else. The council might view the humans' actions as irrational, perhaps even suspicious. I do not know, Alex admitted. But I will tell them the truth, that these humans did what no Nexar ship would have done. They saved us when there was no logical reason to help, no benefit to themselves. And that their illogical methods fixed our unfixable ship, Kay added. Tom, who had been the most skeptical of the humans, nodded slowly. Perhaps there is a logic we do not yet understand, a wisdom in their approach that we have overlooked. The day before the Nexar transport was scheduled to arrive, both crews gathered in the station's observation lounge. Through the large windows, they could see both ships docked side by side, the sleek, precise lines of the Starweaver next to the more rugged, practical design of the Horizon. Jack raised a glass. To new friendships and safe journeys home. Everyone drank to the toast. The atmosphere was warm but tinged with the sadness of approaching farewell. Captain Jack, Alex said, stepping forward. On behalf of my crew and the Nexar people, I wish to present you with something. Alex handed Jack a small box. Inside was a crystal, similar to those used in the Nexar engine but smaller. It glowed with a soft blue light. This is a communication crystal, Alex explained. Modified according to what we learned from your engineer, Kelly. It is imperfect, by traditional Nexar standards, but perhaps better for it. When activated, it will allow direct communication between our ships, regardless of distance. Jack held the crystal carefully. I don't know what to say. Say that this is not goodbye, Alex replied. The universe is vast, but perhaps not vast enough to keep new friends apart forever. Kay approached Kelly, holding something wrapped in cloth. For you, she said, unwrapping it to reveal a tool made from Nexar metal. It is an adjuster used by our engineers. I have modified it to fit human hands. Kelly took the tool with reverence. It's beautiful. It is practical, Kay corrected, then added with what might have been a smile. But perhaps it can be both. As the evening continued, more gifts were exchanged. Star charts, medical knowledge, stories of home. The Nexar, who had never valued such informal connections, found themselves reluctant to see these relationships end. Before the gathering concluded, Alex addressed everyone present. When we were lost in the void, we believed no one would find us. We were wrong. The humans answered our call when no one else could hear it. They showed us that there are many kinds of logic in the universe, many paths to wisdom. Alex looked at the assembled crews. Silver-blue Nexar beside pink-skinned humans, so different yet now connected by shared experience. What we learned from each other may be more valuable than any technology or star chart. The humans taught us that imperfection can be strength, that adaptation matters more than perfection, and that sometimes the most logical action is to help simply because you can. Jack smiled. And maybe you taught us something too. That precision has its place, that sometimes thinking things through beats rushing in. Perhaps, Alex agreed. The best path lies somewhere between our approaches. As they stood together, watching the stars, the rescued and the rescuers, they shared a simple truth. Space was vast and often dangerous, but it was less so when you didn't face it